Like for example, in Apple also, right? Like at the end of the day, they're creating authority by saying like, this is the most beautiful thing that I've built. Please use it. And that's the reason you put it in your pocket, take it out and show like, this is a titanium phone. Right? So they could have also done it like very simply saying this is a titanium phone. But if you look at the iPhone 15 launch, they actually did an animation just explaining like, there was this dust on top of the phone, the dust is going out and you have the iPhone over there.
Yeah.
So even they are selling to consumer, at the end of the day, everyone is a human and the psychology, the way it works is pretty same, right? It's about taking attention. And this could be a great hack. For example, we are not a very big company, but to become a big company, we need to take attention from the bigger companies. Like people who are talking about those big companies, how do you take attention? You take attention by doing something that has not happened. And suddenly you take that attention and be like, you know, by the way, you just need to look at us as well. If you look at US, I think it is still a first world country. There's a lot of problems that they can pick up and also afford to have like great design and things like that. I think in India, there's so much fundamental problems that we still need to solve, because of which, you know, like I would actually argue that Swiggy has so much better design than what people building outside, right? We are very good at it. In India, we are very good at it in terms of design, right? Like if you look at companies like Swiggy, Ola, right? Some of these consumer companies, because our India itself is like so huge, there's so much problems to solve. We are still solving for ourselves. Once we get out of that barrier, right? Like once we reach to a point like, okay, we have like catered the whole country. It's just a quick flick that we just need to go out, right? Once we go out, we will be like the kings, right? Because you have operated a business based out of India and been able to make money where the currency is still in the lower side and things like that. If you once you go out with all this facility, all this infrastructure and put it out there, you're gonna charge a 100% margin eventually. See, there are always chances to get out of college and sort of right after that you can start a company if you already have figured things out. But then it's always good to just have a little bit of experience around that. There are so many reasons to it. One is network. Once you've worked with multiple people, you know some of these people, and even when you're starting a company, network is going to be like the first biggest push, because you don't really know when you start a company what you're doing, right? Because once you start, only then the layers of the onion basically started peeling. That for that you need to work, right? If you are just straight out of college, there's always chances to start working. But then we were like, okay, let's just, you know, go and take some, you know, like be more professional on our own work, just to make sure that we are good at at least something. Yeah. That's how exactly I look at it, right? Like you need to be good at something, but we can always have the breadth. But there has to be one thing that you are like, you know, this cannot be touched. Like you have to be in God level to be like, you know, when you're running the company, that one thing you don't have to take care of. For in our case, it is like, for me, it is design and product. Similarly, it goes for my co-founder. He's brilliant in tech, right? Development, right? And he understands, like, he's like just brilliant in that sense, right? And the interesting thing to note here is that we were still doing our jobs. And this was a side project. So the only trade-off that we did was for 1 year, for 1 to 2 years, I would say, we never took vacation or even Saturday, Sunday. Like there was Monday to Friday was basically work at office, because obviously that's where the whole food comes you for it. And Saturday, Sunday was just building this, right? So, and because we were working remotely, so we knew what to do. We used to plan and things like that. So I remember in 2020 itself, it was a good 8 months where we were onboarding users as well as building the thing. The gold knowledge basically lies on what to build next, right? So we were like, how do we collect all of this? I was like, you know, like you have Discord, you have email and stuff like that. We were collecting by copy pasting everything, put it in one place. We like, these are the features that we need to build, right?
But that will take a lot of manual
Exactly. So we did that. We have to go through the problem, right? So we did that. We were like, okay, done. Now it took us 3 months to, let's say, do a feature. Now I forgot who is this person who gave that feedback and where. Did he give this feedback on Discord, or did this person give me feedback on email? We don't know. So now we are basically a feedback management tool, a qualitative analytics tool essentially, which helps you to collect feedback from wherever you're getting the feedback from. We have like different integration. So for example, if it is Twitter, we have a direct integration with that. So every time your company Twitter handle gets mentioned, we sort of get in. Now we have gotten into another step altogether. We are like, you don't even have to tag. So let's say a lot of these companies run their support system in Zendesk. Correct? So in Zendesk, there's a lot of communication happens, but the product team doesn't really have a direct access to Zendesk. Right? Now in Zendesk, a lot of customer communication is happening, and only the support guy is taking care of it. And the product team is the one who is taking the decision of what to build next. Correct? So now what we're trying to do is, Olvy will sit inside your Zendesk and figures out what is the feedback and what is not, and surface this inside Olvy, so that tomorrow when the product manager wakes up, he knows exactly what is going on inside Zendesk and what are the features that they are asking for and things like that. And the only sort of idea that I would love to give your audience is that no one really knows anything. That's the fundamental truth for anyone that you're looking around yourself, right? Even if you look at someone who is coming on Twitter and be like, you're missing out on a lot of things because AI is here. Even that guy might not know, right? The idea is that keep experimenting, get that one thing right in your life, right? Get that one thing in your life, so that tomorrow, if there's nothing, you know that I have that talent with me. And the way I define talent is that, talent is nothing but you repeat the same thing for years, and eventually people call you talented. Right? So pick up that one skill, become talented, and don't afraid of anything, because no one really knows anything. But once you keep repeating your own thing, that every day you're just waking up and just, let's say, doing design. For last 10 years there has been no day that I've not opened up or designed anything. There has been no day. Like, every day I woke up and made sure that the skill that I have to respect it for, because if I don't have anything tomorrow, this will be the only thing that I'll be left with, right? So be focused on that one thing. Make sure that you unlock your God level. That is important. You need to be very close to the art that you are moving towards. If you are too good at it, no AI is going to come to eat your job, because eventually you will employ AI to get your thing work.
Today, I will be discussing with Arnob Mukherjee, who's the founder of Olvy. Olvy focuses on managing customer feedback for enterprises using generative AI. Arnob is a professional designer, and he started Olvy because he had passion to do business from a very young age. In today's conversation, we'll be discussing about generative AI, the products of Olvy, and how they use generative AI to cater SaaS products. I'm Saravana Bhava, co-founder of TechIS, online coding bootcamp. If you're interested in learning web development, data science, and ChatGPT courses, I will leave a link in the description. Please find it. If you find this video useful, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Yes, before we start about Olvy, I want to know more about yourself, like a personal side of you.
Sure.
You look pretty young. Okay. So I presume you're in your mid-20s.
I'm 26, right?
Yeah, you're 26.
Yeah.
I want to know how you became a business leader at a very young age, and what made you to pursue entrepreneurship.
Sure. Yeah, I think the story goes long back, but I'll start with a formal introduction. So I'm Arnob Mukherjee. I am co-founder of this company called Olvy, which I run with my school days friend Nishant Arora. So we have been running this from last 3 years. The first year was basically like a side project, which started as basically just solving this one problem for enterprise businesses and SaaS businesses in general, where we were just helping these companies to sort of maintain a change log for the softwares. So that's basically just a zone over there, which is very specific to SaaS and enterprise businesses. They basically have this change log, have a section called What's New inside their product, just to tell their customers like what are the new things that they're working on and things like that. So we were more like a communication platform, helping these companies to maintain the change log. But I like, just going back a little bit, I come from, like, we both basically, like me and my co-founder comes from this small town based out of Uttarakhand called Rudrapur. Just to give you an understanding where Rudrapur is, it's basically just 2 hours apart from Nainital. So that's how people sort of recognize that place. Yeah, so we studied together over there. I have been, and we have been doing some sort of things in entrepreneurship since class 12th, class 11th. So before that, I was basically a dancer, athlete kind of person. Have been into, like, anything that is artistic in nature and stuff like that. And then in 10th, 11th class, we basically, I sort of coincidentally met Nishant. We were basically studying in the same school, but then sort of got to know him. He was a geek guy, sort of figured out blogging and things like that way back in 2011, 12 is what I'm talking about.
Back then you were like what school?
Sorry?
10th grade.
We were at 11th. We just came into 11th and we sort of got a chance to sit together. Otherwise we were in different classes. And by then itself, I left, professionally, I left dancing, right? So I was basically into dance, and then there was a couple of injuries and stuff. So I just left it, and I was searching for a new thing like that I could do. So I knew I was good at creativity and things like that. And that's where Nishant came in my life, right? So he sort of introduced things like blogging and things like that, which was basically a boom at that point of time, like how people right now is looking into career for YouTube and things like this, right? Which is sort of, everyone is sort of fighting for it, that make it a norm, make it obvious, right? And at that point of time, digital marketing, things like this was basically coming up. And yeah, like that's how the journey started. He said, like, these are some of the things that I do. I was like, this is pretty awesome. I started writing and then figured out I'm not good at it.
Content writing,
blogging, writing my own blogs and things like that, right? And then figured out like I was not good at it for sure. And at that point of time, what used to happen was, there were like good bloggers around India. There were like community. There was this community called indie bloggers at that point of time, which I would say something like Inc. 42 for startups. Similarly, we had indie bloggers at that point of time, at that scale, for bloggers in general, like who had like different niches. There will be bloggers, let's say, who are just writing about, let's say, films, right? Or there would be some bloggers who will be writing about gym or something like that. So they have their own niches, but then at the end of the day, this was basically the blogosphere that got created. And now, because I entered into blogging, figured out that I can't write, what is the alternative business that I can build around this? That's where design started for me. So I started as a graphic designer back in 11th, 12th. I was basically creating logos for all these bloggers and sort of making some buck, right? Obviously, it was not that massive, but then I was just selling like $1,000 for, like, taking $1,000 and giving a brand name, a brand logo for these bloggers. And that's how the design world basically starts for me. Cut to... did all of this, and then we knew that like we were supposed to be entrepreneur, we have to be entrepreneur. That was like clicked very early in our life. We were like, this is what we want to do, now what's next, right? Then I and Nishant sort of figured out that the best way to get into this and stay connected to being an entrepreneur and continue our journey, we have to be in a place where it's all about business, it's all about startups and things like this. And we chose Bangalore, right? And that's how we both came in here in Bangalore back in 2014 for an engineering. So I and he did our engineering in Christ University, Bangalore. So this college is basically based out of in Kengari side of Bangalore. So it's a little outskirt, but yeah, we were supposed to be in Bangalore, so we just did it, right? Get in by first year. we started thinking about like, okay, what next? What should we do? Because obviously college was never the priority as such. We just wanted to run out of that place and sort of start our actual hustling.
So the moment you joined college, you started in your first
Yeah, we
year?
started thinking about it,
Okay.
right? Like, so the first thing was obviously to learn how companies run, right? Or what is the environment inside these companies? How does companies work, like in general? Like, this is the biggest question that you have. As soon as we get into first year, I started looking out for internships. Like, that's the best part, to be a student and then start working and get that knowledge. Worked with OLX in the first year itself. Was working into marketing and stuff. I was not even thinking about that I need to be a designer or anything. I was just like, I just need to know everything that's needed.
What happens in a tech business or startup? You wanted to see that.
Yes, yes, much more closer. So OLX sort of at that point of time was coming to India with this slogan called OLX pe bech de. Right? This was the sort of the slang that they want to create it. So they were basically recruiting some of these students in different segments, and they were trying to build content out of it and stuff like that, and then started working over there. I was like, yeah, it's good. It's a good batch to just work on OLX. 3 months internship, did that, done with it. Right after that, in college itself, I got into this concept called, so this is the first time I got into this concept called counseling. Right? So in our college, there used to be counselors, right? So I was like, this is like pretty great, right? Like, this is the first time you're coming out of college, and then there's someone who is sort of just there to empathize with you and be that first phase of therapy that you're just coming out and all those things. So Christ University give that. And that's when I sort of got and clicked that, like there has to be something over there. Right now, like therapies and things like that is coming up, which is great, right? And there are like a lot of businesses also getting built out where it's getting like commercialized. Everyone can now find therapy around India, which was not the state at that point of time. So that's where the first startup sort of began for me. So I built this not a company, I would say it was more like a project. I'm just doing something and feeling like I'm running a company, where I thought like, what if I just get all of these counselors in a marketplace, and students can pay, or they don't even have to pay, because I was just doing for the college. So I was like, let's just make a marketplace where all of these counselors will be listed, and students can go and have like personal chat and things like that.
Okay, did you restrict it only for students?
So as of now, for students, because I knew the target market very easily, right? Rather than going into some other
the wide segments here.
Yes. So, and that's how anyway any MVP start also, right? Like just do what you understand, and like the things or resources that you currently have. So that's the concept that I took, started working on it. Some of the counselors actually got onboarded. That's the first time I started cold calling to, then once like this.
The counselors to onboard on.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And I didn't even know that was called sales. It took me 7 years to understand that I was actually doing the same thing.
Sales part. Yeah.
Yes, the cold calling and things like this, right? And like realize that this is all naturally that was coming in for me. I didn't have to think about, how do you actually have users and things like that. It was just natural that, if I have to create a demand for that, I need to have more people over here so that I can bring more students, right? So that's how the whole combination started happening, and did that. I somehow sort of gotten selected for ISR CL incubator center for, this is from IIM Bangalore, right? So did over there, then figured out that there are a lot of legalities that you need to run this and things like that.
Because you need to...
Exactly. So kept it like a college project. As soon as we got into IMB.
It went live?
It went live.
You launched the platform?
Yeah, we did launch the platform. We were running only in Crash University.
Did anyone actually pay?
Yes. No, not paying.
Okay.
It was just a project.
Free.
Yeah.
Okay.
Project that I did. And I was like still figuring it out, right? Like, can we build a business out of it? Can we do something, right? So for that, the concept needs to be first clear that if this is something that is needed or not, because if there's no need, there's no point of building a business out of it, right? So I was running it. People were loving all those things, but then figured out that you need some sort of backing on, let's say, who are these people. You need some certification that we are actually eligible to do these things. So I never took it out of the college. I was just like, this is a project that I did for second year and done. So that was this. Then because I was a computer science student, I always understood how computers worked. I always understood like how logic worked, how code works and things like this. But obviously was not great at it. I was just good at it, right? I understood enough to understand the business of how things work. That's when the design thing came in back, where I recently sort of figured out there's something called as UI UX design, there's product design, there's product management and things like that, which is basically way closer to just building the product. And that's what I loved, right? If you look at product manager in general, like they're called the mini CEOs of the company, because they are certain amount of
responsibility
that these guys are taking to build what next, right? That's a big thing. And there's a dedicated space for just to research inside businesses that what should be built, when it should be built, and how it should be marketed. There has to be that one team that just figures it out, because rest of the teams are still have their own KPIs to work at, right? Like for example, business is thinking about how do we earn more money. Then there would be tech who is thinking about we need to build this. It's a big complications that they deal with. Exactly. And then there's a middle ground at the pillar in the middle that is just figuring out what next, what do we build, is this aligning with my business and things like that. That's where I got to know about UI UX design, and then rest of the part of how product pillar basically works. Got into multiple internships, just building myself as a UI UX designer. So worked with some of the startups that was based out of Bangalore, in a bungalow. Worked over there for 5 months, then moved on to a different company. So I was just experimenting as a designer and upskilling myself.
But all these period, you stayed close with the actual business leader, right? Like,
yes.
So
absolutely.
that was a very good, should have been
exactly.
a very good learning.
That's the best part about working at a startup, because you legit see someone who is building it. You have your own responsibility, but it's like the person is sort of sitting there with all the emotions, because you're looking at like, okay, this is my co-founder, what is he going through every day? And now this person is coming to me and saying like, this is the problem that we want to solve, what do you think? Then I go back and solve the problem and bring it to him. And so how much these guys are also relying on each one of them, and because you are at the top and talking with the person, it gives you immense knowledge, right? And you don't even stop at just doing your own job. You actually get into something else, or you help out in something other else, and stuff like that, right? So that's the best part about working at startup, and that's where the whole journey for me, where I said like, I'll be a professional product designer, but then I'll be close to your business, right? So I'll give you my job, but then I'll be still, I was choosing startups in a way that I still stay where the co-founder is working, and I'm working with them, so I understand, and I'm solving problems with them.
So that's the reason you choose to work with
startups. Okay. Exactly, because initially I told you, right, like the whole idea was understand everything, so that once you move to at a certain point, you will be able to like get all of that and use it in your business. So for third year, I was just experimenting, working with some of the companies, built out myself as a product designer. I was getting better at it. I was getting good at it. Then professionally, like by fourth year, by third year itself, I had a job. So I was parallelly running I was parallelly doing college and sort of doing my job as well. And then once that was completed, by fourth year, I got another job. So I jumped over there.
So job means, is it a full-time job?
It was more like an internship, but the responsibilities were like, you need to take care of the pillar.
Were you paid?
Yeah, absolutely.
So as a product developer, a product designer.
Yeah.
So because of your background in design, it helped you. Yeah.
Exactly. So started building that as a skill. Then moved into this company called Cubole, which is like the best bet that I've taken in my entire life, because over there, first of all, it was a US based company. and it was operating out of India. But major sales and CSM side of the things were basically still in US. Here is where all the development and things like that was happening, and we were basically in the big data space. We were basically building, like a platform to help companies to process their data on scale, right? So it was a massive company out there. We were 200, 300 people. The team that I worked with was with product designers over there, and it was still an initial stage of the team in Qbol. So joined over there as a product designer as my first job, which was back in 2018, right after the college. But before that, I was 6 months still doing internship with them, and then that converted into a full-time job. So started working with them. Like my colleagues who were like my senior were having like great background. They Mayank was one of them who was, working out of US. There was Ankita who was again working out of, she was working out of India, and I was there. And then there was another colleague called Girish. These guys have like a great background. They actually studied design as their education. So they come from IIT, Des, Guwahati, right? IIT design course, and then again they went out and sort of studied more on design itself. So this was the first time where I actually knew someone who professionally learned design. I was doing design. I was also good at it, but there were some fundamental principles and things like that that was obviously missing. And the next move, I thought, if I want to be great at my work, I need to understand fundamental and principles of how design works and things like this. And that's when I chose Qbol for that, because I knew that these are the guys who are sitting over there who can at least, I'm obviously gonna do the job, but then I'm also learning with them, right? Because these guys are like good at, like, very professional in nature. They understand design to the core. They will be able to teach me. So it would be like I'm getting taught where I'm also getting paid. Like that's the whole logic behind it. And then started working over there, then switched to this massive B2C company called Ola. So worked over there as a designer, then moved on to working with there was this startup called Create a Stack, headed design over there. So I was leading design over there. Then at that point of time itself, I started working on Olvy as a side project.
You already started?
Yes.
You already had plans?
Yes.
So this was in
2020.
2020, before COVID,
Before COVID.
Okay.
Like it was about to hit.
So, so how was what were your co-founder?
So my co-founder was working at this company called Atlan.
Okay.
Yeah, he was based out of Delhi. So we used to just remotely talk about what do we do, what's next. But then we were also clear that after college, we are supposed to work, because if you tend to understand what exactly happens in the company, professionally, if you just work, see, there are always chances to get out of college and sort of right after that you can start a company if you already have figured things out. But then it's always good to just have a little bit of experience around that. There are so many reasons to it. One is network. Right? Once you've worked with multiple people, you know some of these people, and even when you're starting a company, network is going to be like the first biggest push, because you don't really know when you start a company what you're doing, right? Because once you start, only then the layers of the onion basically started peeling. That this is there,
sales,
this is there,
that's hiring,
that's exactly
development,
exactly. And for that you need to work, right? If you're just straight off college, there's always chances to start working. But then we were like, okay, let's just go and take some be more professional on our own work, just to make sure that we are good at something. At least something. Yeah. That's how exactly I look at it, right? Like you need to be good at something, but we can always have the breadth. But there has to be one thing that you are like, this cannot be touched.
Okay.
Like you have to be in God level to be like, when you're running the company, that one thing you don't have to take care of. For in our case, it is like, for me, it is design and product. Similarly, it goes for my co-founder. He's brilliant in tech, right?
Development.
Right? And he understands, like, he's like just brilliant in that sense, right? And I bring in the core of design, product, and things like this. And this is how any company needs, right? You need design.
You need a product to
build that, and then you need the tech guy. So we were like, let's just be best at our work. Come work with some of these great companies. Come and then bring that experience to building your own thing. So that has been the strategy, and this has been the journey till now. Starting Olvy, and this is what the background basically works.
Okay, sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
So during this period, during this phase, so for, of course, building, your friend built the product and you designed. So the initial part is done. So what other finances, like to, let's say, to set up the company, or when you start scaling Olvy. So how do you manage the finance?
For sure. So see, one of the concepts of side projects is like pretty good, right? Olvy was a side project. And starting a company would like, just see, you need to start a company officially because you need to start accepting payments. For that, you basically need a official company to get started with. It doesn't. So if you just incorporate yourself in India, it won't take a lot of money because we were anyway earning. You were like, let's just put in like whatever the amount you initially need and get started with it. But the interesting thing to note here is that we were still doing our jobs. And this was a side project. So the only trade-off that we did was for 1 year, for 1 to 2 years, I would say, we never took vacation or even Saturday, Sunday. Like there was Monday to Friday was basically work at office, because obviously that's where the whole food comes you for it. And Saturday, Sunday was just building this, right? So, and because we were working remotely, so we knew what to do. We used to plan and things like that. So I remember in 2020 itself, it was a good 8 months where we were onboarding users as well as building the thing. And then on 2021, we officially launched.
So you said onboarding users. So how did you market it?
Yes. So just before this, in 2022, so in 2018 to 2020, I was running this side project called colors.com. Right? With my job, I was not earning or anything. The only sole reason why I was doing this was basically for 2 reasons. One was I wanted to sort of build something that I own on internet. That was the first thing. The second thing was I was using this to build my sort of social profile. Right.
So colors.com.
Colors.com.
What exactly?
So
Colors?
what I did was I basically just built a tool that helps designers to sort of look at, or basically it was a website with curated colors, right? So we basically, so for example, there are like 2-3 concepts like analogous colors, then there is like tetradic colors and things like that. So what we did was we created these palettes that were just pre-formed, and you can just go and like download or install.
Okay, got it.
So the sole reason why I did was that side project was first, as I said, like was basically building my own name, building a brand, own something on internet, so that you get some understanding of how to run a business on internet. Because from here, I learned a lot of things. I learned how virality can be orchestrated, right? So for example, if you look at Olvy today, right, most of our major launches are done by videos. And these videos are like, we try to, make it in a level that how you would get amazed looking at an Apple video, right? Similar to that, we try to, build some of these things. Like a massive, like a beautiful product shown to you, like this has never happened before.
Really? For a SaaS product?
Yes. That's the concept that we are bringing in, right? And these are, all the learnings are coming from doing this side project.
Do we have any video out there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's have a look at it.
Yep.
Back in my bag, yo. Conscious. ISO. Diamond. Back in my bag and I got a brag. I do this. rich for real. And we was down and we had nothing, we had to share a meal. We put the shit in overdrive with no steering wheel. Shorty throw that thing back in a pair of heels. Yeah, she be riding on that thing like a Ferris wheel. Yeah, I love them dark skin, brown skin, caramel. You know I had to bring it to the hood like she Karen Civil when she keep on turning head. Cause when she whoop that thing jiggle. And we going back to back on them like we Huey and we Riley. This that back in my back, low, we back again so highly. This that back in my back, low, we back to change the climate. This that back in my back, low, we bring the force like Tommy. Back in my back, flow. Back in my, yeah, back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, yeah, back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, this my, back in my bag, flow. Back again, yeah, we keep on stacking it, what's happening? Everything in Gucci got me feeling like I'm dapper then. Life has been a movie, yeah, so shout out to the cameraman. Pull up to the scene, it's going down like an avalanche. Steady going up like a travel plan. Homer Simpson phase, lucky power plant. Yeah, I'm off that dope, like I'm back again to busy at the Millie's. I don't club hers, give the word if it's a cinch, love forgive me. Still have emotion, dog so wild, but I slow it. Make it rain on them, bust a band, then you throw it. We was steady having it, even at our lowest. High speed road running, keep my motor go. Hey, hey, people feel away, but they don't show it. Gotta watch the people that surround you as you grow it. They be coming around you with some plans to steal your moment. Soon as I she be like, baby, where you going? Never slowing down, it's enough to go around. Yeah, you probably knew it's then, but really you don't know it's now. Blood is show and tell, but all my know me well. It was either chase a dream or go to jail, but none of us ain't going back to back on them like we Huey and we Riley. This that back in my back, low, we back again so highly. This that back in my back, low, we back to change the climate. This that back in my back, low, we bring the force like Tommy. Back in my back, flow.
So
Back in my
this is very cool.
Yeah.
But from this video, what I understand is you're making this AI tool which will connect your all kinds of professional communication to like Slack, email. It's like a one-stop query machine, like to manage all your customer user feedback.
Yes.
So this is the tool.
Yeah.
This video is very cool. I have one more question because you followed the Apple's approach.
Yeah.
Apple is a company for consumers.
Correct.
Your company is a product. You're building product for business.
Yes.
So how do you take this
approach to?
Yeah.
So see, at the end of the day, it is all about taking attention. And the way you think about it is the fundamental way of building any SaaS product is you're building for people at work. Correct. But these guys are still roaming around on Twitter because these are humans at the end of the day. And for them to take that attention, you basically do these things, right? And it's not about just making it cool and stuff. You're also creating an authority that how beautiful this product is, so that you make sure that you use this product and introduce this inside your company, so that with the level of AI and things like that you're bringing in, it will for sure gonna help it to you, right? So this is basically why are we like in the state where B2B businesses has to be boring, right? Why cannot be expressive at all? Right? Like this is the whole idea.
Okay.
So that is what we're trying to break.
Yeah, the
sort of
approach
take
is
attention.
very unique.
Yeah.
How did you take this
exactly
your service to actual businesses?
Yeah. So if you look at it, a lot of these product managers are hanging out on LinkedIn. They're hanging out on Twitter.
Okay. So you reached out to,
So if you have a great,
connection.
First of all, you need to respect the algorithm of Twitter. So it says that anything that is engaging, we will try to push it.
Yeah.
If I get some level of initial boost from my own audience, it is pretty sure that Twitter or LinkedIn is going to push that.
Yeah.
Right? So if your quality of things are like great, organic marketing can happen from the first day itself. That's the biggest reason why you don't do ordinary things. You have to do extraordinary things, especially when you're building a business at 2023. It was still easier when you didn't have a lot of competition. The industry was still getting defined, and there were like some of these solutions haven't seen the life yet. But in 2023, there's legit, if you just go out, you will be like everything has been built.
Yeah.
At this age and time, how do you take attention? You take attention by putting out quality stuff. You take attention by proving yourself that, using design, you can actually create authority, right? Like for example, in Apple also, right? Like at the end of the day, they're creating authority by saying that this is the most beautiful thing that I built. Please use it. and that's the reason you put it in your pocket, take it out, and show like this is a titanium phone, right? So they could have also done it like very simply saying this is a titanium phone, but if you look at the iPhone 15 launch, they actually did an animation just explaining like there was this dust on top of the phone, the dust is going out, and you have the iPhone over there.
Yeah.
So even they are selling to consumer. At the end of the day, everyone is a human, and the psychology, the way it works, is pretty same, right? It's about taking attention, and this could be a great hack. For example, we are not a very big company, but to become a big company, we need to take attention from the bigger companies. Like people who are talking about those big companies, how do you take attention? You take attention by doing something that has not happened, and suddenly you take that attention and be like, by the way, you just need to look at us as well.
Interesting. So we already launched ourselves into Olvy. I wanted to ask you how Olvy started.
Yeah.
Why Olvy? Because you said you were from a design background.
Correct.
Your friend. Why did you choose to provide an AI tool for SaaS applications?
Yeah, sure. So for this I need to go back and sort of explain you for the first part of it. So as I said, like while we were working in our companies, he was working at a high-end sort of software product. So they were basically building for B2B, similar to ours as well. We were also building for B2B. One of the biggest things over there is that communication is the most important thing. So let's say today I launched a feature. I need to make sure, as a company, I need to make sure that everyone adopts.
Like all my customers should
basically know about like, okay, this is what we launched, because that's how the adoption will happen. Right now, how it happens in any B2B is that so when I say B2B, there are less number of customers, but the customer ticket size is high. You see, like as
correct.
It's not like a $20 customer. It is a $10,000 customer, $1 million check customer. Correct. All of these have a customer success manager or a sales representative for each of these customers.
Yes, exactly.
From a business. Correct. So the way it happens usually in some of these companies is that they basically, like the product team will say like, we just launched it because some of these customers basically asked. Then they tell it to the CSM team that, can you please communicate, right? What if this was productized? That's when companies like Slack brought in this concept called what's new. Right, so inside the product you will have this gift icon at the top, and it will show like, okay, these are the new things that you're working on, these are the new things that you have done. That solves the biggest problem of discovery of a new feature or new bug that they fixed, or a new improvement that they brought in, and things like that. So this eventually became a norm for a lot of these SaaS companies to maintain a change log. Same problem happened to us. So in his case, there was this team that was just building their own change log, similar to where I was working at Qbold. We were also building the same thing. We were like, this should have been productized, right? That's when the first part of the product for Olvy came in, which was changelog product. So we were basically a changelog as a service product, right? So anyone can basically sign up. There will be a widget that we will give it to them. So there will be a script that they need to install inside the product, and they can have their own what's new like Slack inside the product without even maintaining their own systems or anything like that. We'll take care of everything. They just need to sign up, start writing their changelog, and install this widget, and every technology piece is something that we will take care of. That's how the first product basically came in as like the first step to officially trying entrepreneurship. So while this was side project in 2021, so in Product Hunt we launched it. So we got like good, like we were basically #1 product of the day, got a lot of traction. Then we run like, LTDs and things like that, which was basically lifetime deals with a couple of these marketplaces. We were like, okay, this makes sense. This is looking good. We have a job as well as, we have a SaaS product as well. Then the time began where we got a lot of attention, and we were like, like that we were actually getting a lot of feature requests. We were getting a lot of these we were getting feature requests, we were getting some of these complaints, we were getting bug reports and things like this. And what is happening in the user behavior was that they were just giving all of this request wherever they felt like, right? Like the issue was that we were good at Twitter. So a lot of people, let's say if someone had a complaint, they would just tag at Olvy HQ on Twitter, and we used to get complaints from there. Then there was this Discord community that we used to run, where a lot of these users would come in and be like, I don't have this, I don't have that. Can you build this out? Can you build that? So
this communication tool is integrated with all the social media.
Yes.
So how did you connect through? Okay.
Exactly. So I was just basically defining the problem, right? So for us, Discord was one of the ways. Emails coming in, support chat coming in. There was Crisp that we were using, which was a support chat inside the product. So basically figured out that a lot of these users are choosing their own ways to reach out to the company.
Okay.
Correct. Like they have a problem or they have a feature request, they're using their own ways. Like if they want to email, they email. Now, every feedback that is, you are getting from the customer, and feedback is the most important thing, by the way, because that's where every golden sort of, the gold knowledge basically lies on what to build next, right? So we were like, how do we collect all of this? I was like, you have Discord, you have email and stuff like that. We were collecting by copy pasting everything, put it in one place. We like, these are the features that we need to build, right?
But that will take a lot of manual
Exactly.
hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we did that. We have to go through the problem, right?
Yeah.
So we did that. We were like, okay, done. Now it took us 3 months to, let's say, do a feature. Now I forgot who is this person who gave that feedback and where. Did he give this feedback on Discord, or did this person give me feedback on email? We don't know. And that's where the next part of the product idea basically came in, which was the new product that you see, the AI product, right? Like, so now we are basically a feedback management tool, a qualitative analytics tool essentially, which helps you to collect feedback from wherever you're getting the feedback from.
Using hashtags?
No. So we have like different integration. So for example, if it is Twitter, we have a direct integration with that. So every time your company Twitter handle gets mentioned, we sort of get in.
Okay. Means let's say I'm a user of Salesforce.
Yes.
I tag @Salesforce and type my feedback on Twitter, Discord. But I need to tag that official @ or the link to the page.
Yes.
All those will be pulled
in.
Okay.
Now we have gotten into another step altogether. We are like, you don't even have to tag. So let's say a lot of these companies run their support system in Zendesk. Correct? So in Zendesk, there's a lot of communication happens, but the product team doesn't really have a direct access to Zendesk. Right? Now in Zendesk, a lot of customer communication is happening, and only the support guy is taking care of it. And the product team is the one who is taking the decision of what to build next. Correct? So now what we're trying to do is, Olvy will sit inside your Zendesk and figures out what is a feedback and what is not, and surface this inside Olvy, so that tomorrow when the product manager wakes up, he knows exactly what is going on inside Zendesk and what are the features that they are asking for and things like that. What you just saw in the video, right? We auto tag things like, oh, this seems to be like a feature request, this seems to be like a bug report, what is the sentiment around this, things like this, right? So these are some of the core technological models that we are working on.
So let's say if it's a very small issue, so your tool will push it to the front line.
Correct. For the product teams.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what if it's a serious, like huge upgrade?
Correct.
Needs requested by the customer.
Yes.
So then do you level the point of contact?
We do that.
Okay.
So for example, we have CRM integration as well. So with that, we bring in the data of which customer is giving how much money. So according to that also, we sort of help you prioritize those things, right? And for example, let's say you are my biggest client, you give me around, let's say $20,000 as an ACV, right? And I have to prioritize that. Now over there, it will show that your feedback has been negative from last 3 months. That means there are higher chances that you might churn. These are some of the problems that we are solving for product teams around the world.
Okay.
So that's what the next product that we built out, and this is how the whole idea came in, where we had to start a company to go through the problem and then move into a different problem and obviously start building into the next phase of the product.
Interesting. So now now where do Olvy stands? Like
Yeah.
your customer base, like
Yeah.
if you would like to name any of your customers, you
For sure. So most of our customers are based out of UK, US, EU. So 90% is basically we're operating from India to US. Then there are some amazing companies that are using us. For example, Lottie Files is there. Then there's Dixa, which is based out of UK. So these are some of the bigger companies that we're working with, and there are some of them that are still in pipeline, and we are working with them. So yeah.
So that's how you stand right now. So
Exactly.
I saw the product, and it's not that expensive.
Yeah.
The product is quite affordable, right?
Yes.
So why did you price aggressively?
Yeah. So the thing is, when we started, right, we were like, this has to be seat based. Right, essentially anyone who is buying the seat and sort of doing this, but we do have a hybrid model where you only pay for seats, right, but then the amount of feedback that we are processing has to be charged differently, right? So every feedback has a certain amount, like every feedback that comes in inside Olvy, we are processing it, right, because it's a free text. Then we have our own AI engines that basically figures out, okay, what is the sentiment around this, what kind of feedback it is, what kind of tags that you want to do. You can automate those kind of stuff, right? So for that, we sort of have a hybrid model.
Okay.
So the price that you see is basically getting started, but then eventually the amount of the more the feedback, the more the volume, and even that is like the kind of businesses that we also work with, because we stand out for solving that scale problem, right? Because the biggest problem that we're trying to solve is we're bringing in structure in our unstructured data. Right, it's like you get feedback from everywhere, but then that text doesn't really mean anything unless and until it is tagged with the right amount of data, right? So that's what we are trying to do.
Okay, so you said your AI engine.
Yeah.
Your AI engine is built in-house, or did you or subscribe from any outsource? Did you outsource it?
So we have a mix of models. So in some cases we use OpenAI directly off the shelf. In some cases we do have our own engines to understand like what is the feedback and what is not, is something that is basically in-house, right? Like we understand those because so there was this side project that we did from Olvy itself where we built out something called as Twitter feedback.app. We just discontinued it recently. But what it used to do was it used to basically like let's say there's a Twitter handle that you just type in, and Olvy, like the engine will automatically figure out like what are the tweets that are there, and then figures out what is the feedback and what is not. Because the biggest problem with bringing in all the data is that a lot of this would be noise as well, right? So some of these models are built in, like so it's a mix of some models that are built in-house and some models that we are using directly from OpenAI.
Yeah, because this AI engines, to build these AI engines, you need a very sophisticated data, and you need a lot of it's a very sophisticated infrastructure.
Exactly.
So how did you able to manage that with your company? That's my question.
Yes. So see, a lot of things OpenAI has figured it out because they are trained on large amount of data, right? So obviously that comes as help. But then, as I said, like with doing these side projects, we sort of give it as a free tool, right? This is a free tool. We don't ask for any money or anything. But then users use it, and those data is something that we use to sort of train our own thing and sort of understand like, okay, this is how it works.
Okay. So a couple of weeks back, I was discussing with a different business leader. So I asked him the question, why India is not able to produce any consumer products, a global consumer product, like Snapchat, Facebook, Tesla. Where do we lack? But on the other hand, in the SaaS world, we are very
booming.
We are one of the top in the world. We have top companies.
Right.
So his answer was, we do not have a very good design. Our products don't have the global design. So that's why it get rejected in the global sphere.
Correct.
So, and you said you're from a design background. I've seen your SaaS tool. You made a very good design for your SaaS tool. So do you have any plans for global consumer market?
Yeah, so we are like, I personally don't go on the consumer side of the things. I'm still very passionate about B2B businesses, SaaS products and stuff. But just to answer your question on that thing, right? Like, if you look at US, I think it is still a first world country. There's a lot of problems that they can pick up and also afford to have like great design and things like that. I think in India, there's so much fundamental problems that we still need to solve, because of which, like, I would actually argue that Swiggy has so much better design than what people building outside, right? We are very good at it. In India, we are very good at it in terms of design, right? Like, if you look at companies like Swiggy, Ola, right? Some of these consumer companies, because our India itself is like so huge, there's so much problems to solve. We are still solving for ourselves. Once we get out of that barrier, right? Like, once we reach to a point like, okay, we have like catered the whole country. It's just a quick flick that we just need to go out, right? Ola is operating out of London as well. It is operating out of Australia. It is operating out of New Zealand. Even though Uber is still there, right? But it's still making money. It's still making business out of that, right? All of these, like, because India is huge, like, there's so much population, there's so much problems to solve over here. Once we solve those things and we become like a norm, we become like a behavior of using this consumer internet. Once we are done with that, it's going to be like super easy. First of all, we would have figured out how to sort of be profitable with, because we have optimized so much on the tech side and things like that, because with less amount we are able to do so much. Correct. If we are optimized here in India, once we go out, we will be like the kings, right? Because you have operated a business based out of India and been able to make money where the currency is still in the lower side and things like that. If you once you go out with all this facility, all this infrastructure and put it out there, you're gonna charge a 100% margin eventually.
Yeah. So do you have any plans? Olvy have any plans for consumer?
Olvy, yeah. So not on the consumer side. We'll be on the SaaS. We still have to do a journey of 10 years where, we are sort of building this idea of qualitative analytics becoming like a go-to stack, right? Like, that is the first vision. Like, how do you make it normalized? How do you make this idea of qualitative analytics as the first thing when a company gets started, they start thinking about it. Once we are out there, I think that's a long journey that we need to go into. But always, for sure, right now, I cannot comment on what happens in future, but right now will be a B2B SaaS product.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Focus is just that.
You're using AI for a SaaS product, right?
Correct.
I think you have adapted AI very quickly. That's the reason you are able to put out a product out there right now, just some months after OpenAI become so viral. Which means you have been working on AI engine for last couple of years.
Yes, absolutely.
Your perspective on generative AI and AI technology, of how it has been transformed, because you must have, it must have been a eureka moment for you when you saw this AI kicked in.
Correct.
So your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So generative AI, or in general AI, like, the way you need to look at it is a fundamental way of looking at it is that a lot of these information that we used to consume were structured. Correct. What I mean with that is, if you go to YouTube, there's someone who has tagged it with saying this YouTube video is about this. This is the description. This is that, or whatever, right? Like, it is basically giving you a lot of metadata while you're searching or anything like that. So that was all structured data, right? Similarly, Google search. Till now, a lot of these companies are focusing on SEO and things like that, where Google is saying that this is how you need to structure your data so that you get on the top. That means everyone was focusing on structuring that data, whatever they're writing. Enters AI, where anything that was unstructured will now have meaning. For example, let's say in Olvy itself, you have look at it in the most basic way, right? There's a text that has been thrown into Olvy engine, right? there's a text that is just came in. Now that text could be anything. How does a computer understand that this text has this meaning, right? So now this text came in. The Olvy AI basically starts with, okay, what is the sentiment? Seems like it is negative. So this text has now a meaning called, it is a negative text.
Yeah.
Second thing, what kind of text it is what is it exactly talking about? Is it talking about feature request or is it bug report? So it says bug report. Now another structure sort of get in, right? So now let's say, now because we work with customized data with a lot of these companies, so they can bring in their own way of categorizing these feedback. So for example, if there's a company who is, let's say, in delivery systems, so it is tagging everything that is related to delivery. Every feedback that is related to delivery is automatically tagging it. So it got another layer of meaning, right? So the power of AI is that, one of the biggest thing that this is going to do is bringing structure to some of these unstructured data that is just lying around, right? For example, let's say even in ChatGPT, once you gift constraint to it, it starts talking to you and figures out like what exactly are you trying to do, right? Which is nothing but it has a lot of data, and then you go and structure it saying, I just need this, right? That's the art of talking to the AI. That is the first thing that it is going to bring, right? And second thing, imagine anything that was painful and mundane or ridiculously, sort of boring. Just give everything to AI. That's the biggest thing that is going to come in, and it is not going to replace humans. It's just going to be as an assistant over there, right? That's how I look at it, right? So today, if I have to do if I have to make a workout session, for example, I might need to go to, let's say, obviously it is recommended to go to someone and ask whoever is more professional over there. But then the idea is, let's say you understand how workouts basically work, for example, right? And now for example, what is the body fat that you have? You have, let's say, 30%. You want to scrim down. You want a body. That means you need a body fat around below 20%. Like if these are some of the logics that and you know your body well, and you have all the calculations done and saying like in 2 months, I want to go from this to this, right? You have all of this data. You have the constraint. Just put in ChatGPT and ask like, give me, and also you can specify, I'm a vegetarian, right? I'm a vegetarian who doesn't like paneer, which is the biggest source of protein. Right, for
an alternative,
it will give the alternative because it knows. For you, so to get something like this, you probably need to go to a nutritionist and sort of figure out like, okay, these are the constraint, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, and things like that. Then they figure out. That would take you $1,000 at least. You know everything, right? You figured out everything. Just ask ChatGPT once. I'm pretty sure it will have a good alternative, and it will understand what exactly that you want. It's just about putting constraints to it and figures out like, okay, these are the things that I want, right? So think of it like a friend which has a lot of, it basically knows everything, right? All you need to know is how to talk to it. How to talk to it is an art still, because it is also a computer.
Prompt engineering.
Yes, prompt engineering, right? It is a computer at the end of the day, similar to how our apps work. They have their own language to work. So Java or anything of these to basically run apps on top of computer. It is very similar to that. So it has its own way to talk to it. You just need to figure that out. Once you have that knowledge and once you have that habit, it is going to be the best buddy of yours, from going to your default intelligence to actually top it up, right? So that's how I look at AI.
So, at in your company, how many teams do you have in your company?
So currently we are a very small startup. We are a 11 people team, and in which we have 5 engineers, 1 designer, then there's a motion designer, there's 1 marketer, then there's a content writer, and including me and Nishant. That's basically 11 people.
You're starting very lean.
We are very lean.
So you plan to be lean because you can use AI for the betterment or to expand? Is that your plan?
Yeah, I think it's not about that to cut down or anything, to use AI or anything like that. It's not at all about that. It's just more about if we are able to produce this much with the amount of people that we have, and by the way, they're like just so super talented that we don't have to, like, we don't even feel like having another person. But yeah, once the scale hit, obviously we have to go and sort of hire more.
Okay.
But at this point of time, I think we are doing some great job, and like super proud of my team. Like they understand the core businesses, and they actually work like startup folks, right?
Okay.
So they understand the core of it, and that's why we are just right now a small team.
Okay, so you are a specialist,
Yeah.
like a design specialist.
Correct.
And your friend was a
Specialist in
in
dev.
tech.
Yeah.
Moving forward,
Yeah.
will there be any specialist because of AI?
Yes.
Because now everyone is a hybrid,
Correct.
right? It's a gray area between hybrid
Yeah.
and a specialist.
Right.
Specialist is like more focused on a
Exactly.
particular skill.
Correct.
Hybrid is he can do
lot of
multiple
things,
skills,
yeah.
but at what extent?
Yeah.
What finesse?
Yeah.
So, what's your opinion on
Yeah.
that?
So when you're starting early, you obviously need generalists in place, right? Who not just restrict themselves to do a certain job, because in a startup you need to achieve a lot of things with
A limited
resources.
Yeah.
Right. So that's super important that you have generalist in place. And what kind of generalist? First of all, let's define this, right? So let's say in tech, you cannot just hire a back-end person who just does back-end. It's not possible. For a feature to ship, you also need to know front-end as well.
Front and back end and
Yeah.
server side.
Exactly. So when I'm at scale, at that point of time, I might need specialists because the scale is too huge to run the company, right? For that, I need this backend specialist. But for now, I want to ship faster. So for that, I would love someone who knows backend, who can own these things to, front end as well and things like that. Similarly, for a product designer, let's say if I hire someone as a product designer, can that person can also come on GTM, right? Like for example, can that person also helps us, representing a product in marketing? Like for example, even this video to come out, the marketing team cannot be like super disconnected from the product team. They need to know what are the value props that you are building on, what is that customer needs, what are we trying to represent and things like that. The marketing team can help you to distribute, but to own the narrative, the product team needs to represent that, okay, this is what we need to do, right? So it's not like the product design is just doing product, right? At the end of the day, he's like, this guy is basically bringing in the specialization of design, but in different stuff as well, right? So it's not like this person cannot like if that person is specialized, it's not like your specialization cannot be used into different places. So as a startup, it's better to have generalist. In some cases, you also need to have specialist. For example, I am specialized in design, but then I have a broader idea to how marketing works, how sales works, right? And sort of still building my, I would say, like skill on that. Like I'm not stopping over there. I'm like, so that's what I was told about, right? Like you need to be good at one thing so that you don't have to think about that. You know that this is like,
Exactly.
for sure I'm going to do, and this is going to be my plan to sort of create that authority or be the massive guy, right? Like represent ourselves in a massive way. In a professional way. Like, so if you go to Olvy, a lot of these customers come in and be like, our boss told me to check out this tool because you guys look so good, right? You guys represent yourself so well, right? So that has been like one of our biggest hacks. And this happened because the marketing and design team was like very, connected to each other. They are all generalists where they bring in their own specialization and sort of built out this beautiful going to be empire kind of thing.
Interesting. Sounds very thoughtful.
Yeah.
With that, I want to know your closing thoughts for today's podcast.
Yep.
Do you have any closing thoughts for young students out of college who's going to graduate very shortly.
Sure.
Because you graduated college, you had a job while you were in college,
Yeah.
and you had this vision of building a tech, getting into the tech
Correct.
industry. So, and you have been successful so far.
Sure.
Your thoughts for these young talents here?
Yep, sure. So,
And by the way, these young talents are quite terrified or confused about AI and generative.
For sure. Yeah. So, first of all, I think thanks for calling me.
Yeah.
And I think I also processed a lot of things by talking to you. And the only sort of idea that I would love to give your audience is that no one really knows anything. That's the fundamental truth for anyone that you're looking around yourself, right? Even if you look at someone who is coming on Twitter and be like, you're missing out on a lot of things because AI is here. Even that guy might not know, right? The idea is that keep experimenting, get that one thing right in your life, right? Get that one thing in your life, so that tomorrow, if there's nothing, that I have that talent with me. And the way I define talent is that, talent is nothing but you repeat the same thing for years and eventually people call you talented, right? So pick up that one skill, become talented, and don't afraid of anything, because no one really knows anything. But once you keep repeating your own thing, that every day you're just waking up and just, let's say, doing design. For last 10 years there has been no day that I've not opened up or designed anything. There has been no day. Like, every day I woke up and made sure that the skill that I have to respect it for, because if I don't have anything tomorrow, this will be the only thing that I'll be left with, right? So be focused on that one thing. Make sure that you unlock your God level. That is important. You need to be very close to the art that you are moving towards. If you are too good at it, no AI is going to come to eat your job, because eventually you will employ AI to get your thing work. So yeah, that would be my closing note on that.
So that has been wonderful. I don't know.
Cool.
I wish all the great success for
Thank you so
Olvy.
much.
I think you're already doing great. I love the way how your website looks, maybe because of you being the designer. The design of your product is really amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being.
Thanks for
you have
calling.
been one of the most young and vibrant guests of my show.
Thank you so much. Pleasure is all mine.
Thank you. Thank you again.
All right.